The CMU organization conducted a study in 2022 across Europe and the United States, which shows that fake news directly affects 87% of the people. 9 out of 10 people have a direct impact on their beliefs because of fake news. It's a big issue, and this clearly shows why. This study doesn't exist.
Fake news.
Neither does the CMU organization, the completely made up organization. But at least some of you believe me, and in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if as many people were truly affected by it. It shows how easy it is to spread misleading information. I will use Lance to showcase this. Lance is 82 years old from Frankfurt, Germany, and a smoker since he was 12 years old. He primarily gets his news from the internet and dislikes traditional news media. Lance is convinced that fake news isn't affecting him. But it's so much easier to spread fake news than Lance might think, because it isn't just a plain-out lie someone puts in front of him. Although many definitions like false stories that appear to be news usually created to influence political views might suggest that. In this video, I want to go further and show how companies abuse the small line between fake news and facts. Because in my book, fake news is every information that is designed in a way to mislead you. And you know who does that best? Well, yes, politicians, but also companies. In the 1950s, the tobacco industry ran campaigns to downplay the health risks of smoking. At the same time, young Lance was allowed to watch 30 minutes of TV every night. The tobacco industry sponsored studies that cast doubt on the link between smoking and lung cancer, and published misleading ads using doctors to claim that smoking was safe.
In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel.
You can be glad if you're smoking Chesterfield.
Chesterfield gives you scientific facts and names its ingredients. Chesterfield uses tobaccos pre-tested by laboratory instruments for the most desirable smoking qualities.
You might think that that's in the past. Nowadays, that wouldn't work like that anymore. We're educated. Well, think twice. This probably got a lot easier in the days of internet and social media. A great example is confirmation bias, the first of 5 easy ways to mislead. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and favor information that confirms or supports our prior beliefs. A very good example of this is basically every social media platform. Because of algorithms, we get fed the information we already agree with, rarely ones we don't support. Meaning, if a person believes Trump is amazing,
Illegal immigration can't take you anymore. Our country is full.
they'll most likely get more videos suggesting the same thing and rarely have videos questioning that.
Illegal immigration can't take you anymore. Our country is full.
This only strengthens their existing belief and invalidates any other opinion. Confirmation bias was used in these cigarette ads. If you saw an ad stating cigarettes don't have any health risks every day, well, it's easy to believe that it might just be true. Cognitive dissonance plays right into confirmation bias. It describes the situation when new information contradicts beliefs or assumptions. Once we believe something to be true, it's hard to convince us otherwise. Once we fall into the social media bubble or we've watched the daily ads, we won't just accept something else because some study or someone else suggests so. The same can happen with a person, by the way. Let's say a big rapper you always liked was caught on a big sexual assault accusation. You would immediately think that's just fake news, not real. Correlation versus causation. It's often confused as the same. Just because event A and B are correlated doesn't mean that they cause each other. I'll explain in a simple example. Let's say you open the door in the morning and see the newspaper. The big headline stating, "Eating ice cream increases the risk of drowning." You look further to read, the data from the last years show that whenever ice cream sales increase, the number of drowning accidents increase as well. Of course, this example is stupid, but it makes it easier understanding harder correlation or causation problems. For example, the coffee problem. Let's use the same situation. You open the door in the morning and see the newspaper, with the big headline stating, "Drinking coffee will improve your grades." You look further to read, a study shows that there is a direct connection between good grades and drinking coffee. Although that might be true, it still falls under the correlation versus causation trap. Just because event A and B are correlated doesn't mean that they cause each other. Often, they are caused by something entirely else. That's then called the third cause fallacy. As the increase in ice cream sales and drowning accidents aren't caused by each other, but rather because of the increase in temperature. The same applies to the coffee example. It might just be that the students who study more and put in more work for the good grades also drink more coffee, because they study more. So they study more, which causes them to drink more coffee and causes the grades to get better, of course. I know. A lot of examples, but it only shows how easy correlation can be confused for causation. And it only gets easier to confuse once event A causes event B, but not the other way around. A great example is moving wind turbines and wind. The one causes the other, but not the other way around. Just like a lot of studying often causes drinking a lot of coffee, but just drinking a lot of coffee doesn't move you to start studying a lot. And I hope you also understand how easy it is for companies to abuse this. Leaving out a small but important detail could change the entire picture a customer has of your product. I think you understand. But keep with me. This last one is brutal but super simple.
Dropout rates increased by 100% during the last year.
The new vaccine increased risk of cancer by 200%.
Birth control pill makes you infertile.
Crime rates skyrocketed in the past 5 years.
And so on and so on. Most of the time, the statistics are real, but also very misleading. Let's look at this hypothetical. Although it's true that dropout rates did increase by 100%, it's less misleading when showing that it actually only increased from 5 to 10%, which can be looked at as a 5% increase or a 100% increase. This example shows the issue, but it doesn't properly explain the extent to which someone could misuse this. For that, let's look further into this one. And again, this statement is true. In this hypothetical, it did increase by 200%, but it went up from 1 in a million to 3 in a million. You see where the problem lies. And you know why this happens so often? Because bad stories are so much easier to sell. Things that are bad or scary are just so much more likely to go viral. A similar thing happens in the toothpaste industry. How often have you seen an ad for a toothpaste and, oh surprise, 9 out of 10 doctors would choose this toothpaste? Upon checking again, you might find that the doctors that were asked had the option to give out several answers. So all these toothpaste companies can say that all these doctors recommend their product. In another study, it's possible that they asked only selected doctors who have a reason to like the product, maybe because the toothpaste company sends the clinic monthly toothpaste, I don't know. What I want to show with this is that although the companies might not use fake news as we know it, they wouldn't completely lie, at least not most of the time, but more often than not, if the study or research is conducted by themselves and not an independent third party, it'll be displayed in a way to benefit their sales. Which, of course, is their right and legal as well. But still, I think it's important to know about this and be aware to not just trust any headline you see without questioning it. And I think that's the most important difference in information, the intention. Is the goal to mislead? And more often than not, I think we might underestimate the extent a company will go to in order to convince you to buy their product. And yes, I know, a lot of very bad sounding things. But this video isn't supposed to scare you. Rather, to inform you that just because a company publishes a study about how smoking isn't even that bad, or this tool will solve your cancer and depression, doesn't mean that the company conducted the study in the right way or with good intentions. Don't mistrust every study you hear about, rather go ahead and further inform yourself. Read about other perspectives, find out if the study was conducted in a trustworthy way by a third party that considered every aspect. And also remember that the best solution for fake news is commenting on this video. Bye and thanks.